Yo, what's up guys? It's Sam Feldt here with a brand new YouTube and Instagram TV series, now still called Ask Sam. If you have a better title, put it in the comments. And in these episodes, of which this is the first one, I'm gonna dive into specific topics and answer your questions that you've asked me on social media. And today's episode is all about entrepreneurship. So the first question is, can you take us through your journey as an entrepreneur, starting your first online business at age 13 and building it out to the empire it is today? So yeah, I started my first company when I was 13 years old. I was still a minor, so I had to drag my dad along to the Chamber of Commerce to get it registered. And it was an e-commerce company. I was basically drop shipping electronics from China. And that was actually my first dive into entrepreneurship. I was still in school back then, so it was quite a hassle, running that company, running that e-commerce store while also being in class, having to, take calls from customers that wanted to, return their product or had questions about it, and also being in class and doing my homework. So it was a struggle, but I think that moment I really realized that's what I wanted to be in life. I wanted to be an entrepreneur and not work for somebody else and grow my own business. I also had a web design and web development company. And then from that web design and web development company, I started a few social media services as well that became quite popular. So actually before I got signed to Spinning Records, that was who I was gonna be. That was my daily life. I was working on the companies, I was building out these businesses, and then ever since I was 11, DJing and producing was always kind of my hobby. I made a little bit of money with it, but I never thought it could be my career. So that all changed when Spin signed me about 6 years ago already. And that's the first moment when I realized that, this DJing, this producing could actually become my main thing. And it's interesting to see that a lot of the things that I learned as an entrepreneur, web design, web development, marketing, and now it really comes in handy in my musical career as well. So I designed my own logo, my own website. I run a tech company called Fangage, where we help other DJs and artists create an awesome website for themselves. So it's really interesting to see how everything I've done in the past is now helping me in the present. And question number 2 that you asked me was, what challenges did you overcome? Well, as I said, I launched my first company when I was 13 years old and I was still in school, so definitely a challenge there, running a company, running a business, while also being in class and stuff like that, so kind of doing it in your spare time. And because of that, I quickly realized that I needed to hire people, hire staff to pick up the phone when I was in class, when I was doing my homework, do my accounting and stuff like that I just didn't have the time for. And then one of the biggest failures that I had early on when I was about 15 years old is I saw that I was hiring way too many people, making way too many costs for the profit that I was getting in. So the profit that I made in year 1 almost completely disappeared in year 2. And then I actually ended up having to sell the company because it was going bankrupt. And then a few years later, after selling that company, I started up a new company, which was a digital media agency with 2 other guys. And we went to this awesome office in Breda. It's a city in the Netherlands, like a big fancy office, because we thought that was cool, I guess. Started that company, and about 6 months later, we realized that we just weren't the right fit. We all wanted to go in different directions, so I had to, dismantle the company, and we were stuck with a 3-year lease on the building that we rented that we had to pay out of pocket ourselves. And then I think number 3 is pick your partners wisely. Make sure you go into business with the right people, with the right intentions, that have the same heart and soul for the business, want to give it the same energy and focus as you, because trust me, it's very easy to get in business with someone that is not trustworthy or just doesn't have the right intentions. So question number 3 is, have you had other jobs aside from being a DJ? Well, I mentioned already that I run a couple of web shops, e-commerce stores. I did web design, I did video editing. I run a couple of social media marketing platforms. And of course, nowadays, it's even broader than that, because I also have my own foundation, the Heartfeldt Foundation. I also have my own record label, Heartfeldt Records. I still have 2 businesses that I'm a partner in. One is called Fangage, and what we basically do, we allow everyone with fans to create their own fan platform very easily. So you can create your own website, just like Heartfeldt.me, where your fans can sign up and you guys can be in touch directly. And then the other company that I've launched recently, I'm just looking if I have something here, is Always Bright, which is a anti-hangover product that I use a lot. And it's actually the first product that I've used that actually works. But before I started all that, I did have another job. When I was around 8 years old, I started web design. I got really fascinated by the fact that you could, put something up on the internet in one place, then go to the other side of the country and just see exactly that thing. I was just fascinated by it, so I got into it pretty early on. And it also landed me my first job when I was, I think, 11 or 12 years old. I applied for a web design job at this wholesaler of electronics. I walked in and I was like, hey, I have an appointment here. And they were like, okay, kid, what are you doing here? And I said, well, you hired me through email. Oh, we didn't know you were 11 years old. Okay, let's give it a shot. And then that was my first proper job. So question number 4 is, how does the experience from previous companies help you today? I think for me, it really helps the fact that I've been doing business since I was around 13 years old, in a way that I understand the music industry a little bit better. Stuff like royalties, publishing, the business side of things, and also kind of the marketing side of things. In the music industry, it's not only important to make good music, not only important to do a good show, but your marketing, your branding is definitely a big part of your success. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the first episode of Ask Sam. Still a working title. If you have any suggestions for a title for this series, drop it in the comments. Next week, I'll be posting a new sticker on Instagram stories with a different topic where you can send in your questions for me, and I'll record a video just like this and put it up next week as well. So see you soon. Keep an eye on my social media at Feldt Music, and see you next week.